Hello, welcome to American Horror Story Roanoke, Season 6, Chapter 5. So this one started off with a historian coming in to the My Roanoke Nightmare and talking about Edward Philip Motts, the man who built the house on the Lost Colony land. Yeah, so we learned about that. He's played by the kid who's not really a kid anymore. This young man who played March in the last season, and he played Lobster in the Freak Show season. You know what I'm talking about. The guy from the first season who shot up all those kids in school. But anywho, so he turns out to be a gay dude who's in love with his servant, so he moved away because he has severe social anxiety to Roanoke and built the house, and he was also going to build a escape route because he has precious art that he loves oh so much that's worth more than all the tobacco plants in the country. So little does he know that land's already owned, and he gets stabbed or staked through the back with a super long stake, and it's set on fire. And the historian says that she's not sure if it's haunted, but she ain't going near that house in a full moon. So then, of course, he's gonna show up in the episode, right? He's gonna help Shelby and Matt. So he does show up when they're inside, and there was 2 shout-outs to horror movies, The Ring, and then The Shining as well. So the Ring one was the little Chinese girl. She shows up and she's got long black hair covering her face. She's super pale white, and she takes Flora, and she's kind of like a spider demon running up the walls and stuff. Totally Ring girl. But they get Flora back. And then the Shining one was the son of the butcher, like throws an axe and like hacks down a chunk of the wand and sticks his face through. Totally The Shining. Stanley Kubrick's The Shining, not Stephen King's The Shining. But anyways, then Edward Mott shows up and he helps guide them through the tunnel, and they have Flora and everybody. And he guides them, and he ends up saying, like, this is as far as I'm gonna take you guys. And like, gets kind of tired of them asking them questions and everything. And then he disappears. And then they end up at the folks' house where they found those 2 little boys. And they get hit with guns and bagged and then dragged into their house. And Ellis is still alive. The dude from a couple episodes ago, or last episode, he showed up, right? Yeah, basically the guy that lived there in the 90s. And it turns out Mama saved him and turned his leg into beef jerky that is rancid. And she tried to give them all a piece of it. They said no thank you, and she ate it. Rancid spit it out. And then one of the Pope boys smashes his face with the hammer. And then we learn why they tried to buy the house. They have a deal with the butcher to always provide like a sacrifice, a blood sacrifice. And then it cuts to Lee getting interrogated in jail, and they're asking her about the murder of Mason, and she keeps telling them the same story, which is the truth, that she didn't do it. She went to look for her Flora in the middle of the night, and she even says, like, if you tell the truth, there's no nice to mess up, you know. So she was there for 2 days, and they let her go, and she has a bunch of texts from Matt. So she has to offer her for a ride. So Matt ends up struggling with one of the Polk boys in the back of their truck because they're taking him to the butcher, and he wrestles him with the gun. He shoots his brother. Shelby kicks him out of the car. They go to hide. They keep their phones on vibrate at night, which I know a lot of people do. And Lee calls them and kind of blows their cover. Mama comes out and she's like, you came on my land, you killed my son, And she gets kind of emotional. And then she says, "You're not gonna run again," and smacks Shelby's ankle with a sledgehammer and throws him back in the truck and puts Flora in the front seat. And they drive to the butcher. And as they're about to get murdered, Lee shows up with the cop car and she tells him cover back up, and the cop backs away and drives off. Priscilla mentions, like, you said you'd save her for last for Flora, and the butcher's like, and now she's going first. Because Priscilla pushed the butcher to get her away. And when they're about to murder the little girl, the son of the butcher smacks her with a shovel and says he's tired of her spilling innocent blood. And then Lee tells them they'll get in the car and get away. And they get away. He throws the butcher on the fire. She kind of chases after him on fire. And then they end up at the cheapest hotel possible. And before it's all over, Shelby goes to take a shower. She's on crutches. And the butcher smacks her in the face, but it was just a horrible dream. And that's how it ends, with Shelby saying it. She still has nightmares of that recurring nightmare. And that's how this episode ends. There's supposed to be a twist. In the preview, they showed the dude who showed up in the last one to own the hotel, William Drake. They showed him, that actor, I don't know his real name, but he shows up and he's kind of like, whatever happens, the camera keeps rolling. And that's the preview for next week. So who knows what's going to happen? I'm into it. I'm here for you. We're doing it. Peace.